If you've been listening to my stuff, you know that I talk a lot about how our energy and our emotions affect our animals, right? But the thing is, often when people come to me, then they think that they're the only reason why their animal's behavior or health stuff is kind of out of control. Let me give you an example here of what I really mean. Is like last night, Stanley here, he was a little unsettled in the house, and I wasn't really sure why. He was a bit anxious, kind of pacing a little bit, and he wasn't really keen on his dinner. And I was checking in with myself. I'm like, what's been going on? What kind of a day have I had? I was resetting my nervous system. I was meditating. I was trying to do all this stuff, and it helped a bit for sure, but it didn't really solve everything. And so we kind of went to bed, and he was a little more restless at night. And this morning, was sort of a little off his food. So I was continuing to do my work, thought, going for a walk, it's a great way to reset my nervous system in case I was holding on to any kind of emotion. And what I noticed is as soon as I walked out my front door, there was coyote poop on my front lawn. And what I realized right away was Stan was very aware, clearly, that coyote was in the neighborhood. Because this morning, when we walked out that front door, he took me right to that poop. So my point with all of this is there's a lot of factors going on for our animals, okay, for their behavior and for their health stuff. There's a lot of factors. And the thing that gets most overlooked is our factor, our contribution, our nervous system contribution. And that's kind of what I'm all about. But I do want to highlight that it's only one piece of the puzzle, but it is the piece that is most often overlooked. And so when you work with me or you take any of my workshops, I really focus on helping you understand and recognize what your nervous system and your emotions and how they're contagious and how they're affecting your animal's health and behavior. And because that is the piece that is most often overlooked, when we do something about that, when we start to make our own shifts and adjustments, that's often the final piece where things really sort of start to change for you and your animal. So that's kind of why I focus on that. But I did want to highlight that there is a lot of factors going on. If you've rescued a dog, they're holding on to perhaps some trauma from their life before they were in your life. So there's lots of things going on. When you work with me, we can look at that piece, the piece that has you sort of doom scrolling in the middle of the night, or that piece that has you nervous about something that's coming up at work, or some emotions that you've been holding on to. Maybe you have some grief about a animal that you've had that has passed recently, things like that. That's what we work on to assist your dogs, cats, horses in their health and behavior stuff.